No, we're on good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do this just like if we were in regular class. All right, guys, so we're gonna talk to everybody this direction because that's where everybody ideally would be. We're gonna face you guys right now, all that good stuff. So joining me tonight, guys, obviously is Shane, guys, is gonna help me. Today, our focus for you guys is module 9, lesson 3 actually. So it's collar drag concepts. Together, guys, I can take your side. All right, so we may not do it as long. I'm gonna set everything up for like 30 seconds, guys, on this because we only have like literally like a 12 by 12 section here. If I have Shane run that many circles, he's gonna puke from running so many small circles. All right, so nice easy circle, sir. Don't go fast at all. Don't go fast at all. All right, guys, so I got 30 seconds. We're starting with our jogging. We're just going to do it on time. We're just going to do it on time. So it doesn't have to be crazy fast. We don't have to worry about numbers. We're just warming that body up right now. There we go. Getting up with the posture. Good. Now, for those of you guys that are joining us right now, Shane's actually doing the more advanced version of this, right? So he's kind of stepping forward. He's kind of coming back up at an angle. The concept here that we use it is just to understand the difference. This one's the simple one, right? He just kind of stands up. The other one is a little bit nicer because when his hips turn, it actually creates a wedge that pop open the guard. Usually, it's holding him down. So we'll be using this motion a lot later. Good. Now he's going to roll up over his legs. He's going to be sitting in a butterfly guard position. Boom. And just switches his leg every time, coming all the way up onto his knees. There you go. Do your best not to be a slacker on this one. Shane's going to purposely do a couple of them wrong so you can see. Watch these next ones. See how he barely came up? It doesn't really help him. Technically, yes, he did the motion, but it's not good. Him thrusting maybe forward. That's what we want. We're going to be going to back falls now with a proper stand-up. There you go. A couple ways. He's doing the variation where he needs to create distance because somebody had hit him, right? Very simple, right? Very nice, very easy. You can also do the one that has no kick involved. He just puts his hands down, just stands up. Nice and easy, relax. Maybe he slipped on the skateboard. I don't know, slipped on some ice. It is Colorado, so we get all kinds of crazy weather. Oh my God, side to side falls, please. So guys, this is a very low level side fall that we're doing here. So if you know another side fall, that's great. But for our warm up purposes, this is it. We're just going right side, left side, right side, left side. And when you on your left side, just look at the left hand. If you're on the left side, just slap with the right hand. Better. Right? So watch what he does as he gets started, guys. He steps over to one side and then the bottom leg takes over. Now he's doing a good job of keeping his hips up. That's what he wants to do. As you guys get better, you'll want to do that. Also try to keep your elbows close to your body, always guarding that neck. Here we go. Isn't it crazy how just a few days off of the normal cycle? I've been bringing. All right, so we're gonna slide down this way a little bit. We're gonna bridge over our shoulder, going to turtle. So watch, guys. He's gonna bridge at an angle. This angle's perfect. Go ahead, sir. He bridges over to that one shoulder, steps over, brings his knees up, goes to a protected turtle every single time. Repeats the motion. Yes, very good. I'm gonna have him do this wrong. Look, he's gonna bridge on both shoulders and then go over. Now, the reason I say it's wrong is because for most of our movements, right, we don't want to commit both of our shoulders to the ground, hitting them and then trying to reach the shoulder. It's easier to do it right off the get-go. There you go. We're gonna do a fan sweep sit-up next, guys. 30 seconds. And go do it sideways, actually, with your head to one side. Yep, there you go, good. Watch, he makes this big circle. There you go, rocks up on his feet. Now, what you can't see is that he's keeping his knees fairly close together, right? Because that's what's going to be controlling the body of the other individual as he gets ready to sweep them over onto their back. Good. And he's going to finish with 30 seconds of really good push-ups, guys. And then right afterwards, we'll give you guys a little bit of time to grab some water. All right, guys, so really quick, we're just going to relax for just a second. So before we get started today, guys, one of the things that I want to kind of share with you guys is the premise behind what we're doing here. Right, so the module that we're working on today is lesson 9.3, module 9, lesson 3. And so module 9, lesson 3, guys, deals with the collar drag. This is one of the few techniques that professor refers to as a very dangerous technique, and it can be because when done correctly, it can have really jarring, whiplashing almost effects on the neck and whatnot. and it accelerates you at a ridiculously high level of speed, face first to the ground. So anyway, as we do these drills and stuff today, obviously we're going to be taking care of our partner. We're going to be looking at some grip breaks. So that'll be the first thing we'll be looking at. So we'll look at some grip breaks. Secondarily, we'll look at the response of how we react when we attempt the collar drag and we get our partner down to the knees, where we'll be taking the back. And then the third variation will be the situation where we tried to pull off the collar drag, but we didn't even get him to his knees. He was able to kind of step over my little tripping leg, and he's still on his leg, which will take us to option 3, like I said, which will be the single leg. So let's get started, guys, with a very, very basic kind of a situation. Now, there's a ton of different ways that you can do a grip fight. Everything from, you know, me pushing him, trying to strip grips and trying to grab his hands in midair, and all that good stuff. But I want to give you one that's a little bit more, at least practical for me now in my latter 40s, right? So I like to make my connection from collar and sleeve, collar and elbow, and work from there. So check this out. Shane, may I borrow you, please? So guys, we're going to take this kind of a look here. Let's get closer to the camera just a little bit. All right, so right from here, guys. So we're going to take this kind of a position here where I've got him, he's got me, right? And so we'll turn this way really quick so you guys can see it from this angle. So currently, his hand on my chest, right, is going to be the one that I need to mitigate first, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand off of the elbow. I'm going to slide it right to the sleeve here. Now, when I slide it, I'm just taking my 4 fingers and I'm gripping, right? Gripping towards me. I'm going to release the collar grip now, and I'm going to come right here, right? Now, I'm going to create some pressure on my gi and his grip as I step back and pop it off. Now let's turn so you can see the opposite end. Once I strip this off, guys, the next piece that I have to do is I have to clear this. Does that make sense? He's still holding on. So I'm going to step back, rip my grip out. Now look what I'm doing. I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to reach in, right? So that's where it's going to start, right? So let's do it again from this angle. I'll do the whole thing. I just wanted you to get both sides. So we're set up just like so. I go 1, I go 2, create some tension. Pop, step pop, reach back in, and look, I'm controlling the hand here. This is important, right? I don't want him just to be able, I'm going to keep it on the outside, right? So that's going to be important. So guys, here's what we're going to do really quick. I'm going to go ahead and set the timer so Shane can get his reps in, right? And we're going to go back and forth for a little bit, and we'll be right back at you. Right, young man, this is you. Good. And push. Yes. Good. Nice. Excellent. Good. Better. See how that also has this kind of effect. And you'll want to keep that distance because you're going to turn it too much for me. So when I'm here, right? Oh, I might do this. Oh, sorry. Gotta hold. So I do this, and I come here. No, it's all right if you don't. See, I want to have this. I don't want to be right here because there's nothing stopping me from body locking. I'm still going to be right here. So this position, all right? So, good. Excellent. All right. So guys, now we're going to progress to the next piece of this drill, right? But we're going to do it a little bit more logically and sequentially, a little bit different than what I did in the earlier classes today. So now, one of the things that we didn't do was kind of a little bit of a side fall drill. So watch what Shane and I are going to do. I'm going to demonstrate first, and then we're going to do this a couple of times so you can see. I'm going to step forward with one leg. I'm going to stick my other leg out to the side like I'm tripping, and I'm just going to roll back and touch the ground, right? So this is all I'm doing. I step up, leg goes out, and I go to the other side, right? So all I'm basically doing is a high level side fall, right? And so I step, foot goes to the side, and then I just fall to my cheek, slapping the ground. That's going to be very crucial in the next step of the drill, and you'll see what we're going to do. But in the meantime, let me reset the timer. We're going to do a couple of these just so you can see these. All right, here we go. Actually, this is starting from here. You'll get about a minute and 5 seconds. So go ahead, watch this guy. Shane steps up, leg goes out. Good, nice. He just falls to the side. Very simple. Does the same thing on this side. Yep, nice and simple. So repeat that, guys. We're going to be doing this for about 50 seconds. I'm going to let you guys kind of watch Shane. Hopefully you're doing this along with him wherever you're watching from. Good. Now check this out. This is what it's going to look like, right? So I'm going to do the same kind of a drill. I'm going to go ahead and release this collar because this next part of the drill, still, we're not pulling him to the ground, but I want you to see what's happening, right? So we're going to be set up just like so. Look, I reach over, I strip the grip, I enter, I step, and I'm going to do that. Now, I let go on purpose because I'm not trying to drag him to the ground just yet, right? So I'm going to do it again from the opposite side so you can get a more realistic look at it from this perspective, right? So again, we're set up nice and easy. I take my grip, create some tension, pop the grip, step back, clear, enter, right? Now that I have this, look, I step in, I come here, and I do this. This would be my acceleration to the ground. And hopefully, if this were realistic, right, bounce him kind of like a pebble on the pond, on this mat, or perhaps surface. All right, so Shane's gonna do this really quick. I'm gonna be his partner so he can get the reps in on this one, guys. He's gonna do everything, release the collar, boom, and go down. All right? Good, nice. See how it sets out. So. Yes, good. Yes, very good. All right, guys, so now we're going to go to the next piece of this. So there's a couple of common reactions that tend to happen after this, right? So again, because this is a very whiplashing kind of effect in our partners, when we go ahead and we pull down, you're going to see we're going to do this kind of lightly with each other. We're going to allow our partners to just kind of easily come down to their knees. Now, two things are going to happen here. Watch as I do this with Shane, right? So when we're set up just like so, right? I'm here, I take my grip, I strip my grip, I strip this grip, I step in. Look, I'm gonna come easy, pulling him down. Perfect. Now, did you see in this case, my leg is here, it's behind his knees. That's fine, it's gonna happen. Sometimes it'll happen where his knee's on this side of my leg. Even better, right? That's even better because now when I start to come up, I'm actually gonna have one hook in. But it's okay if both of the knees happen to go here. What has to happen now, let's turn a little bit, Shane, let's turn so both of our heads or your head actually is kind of facing this way. Perfect, right here. So guys, this is where we're at. My grip was right here on the collar. This grip now, once I can't pull him down anymore because he stopped his face from hitting the ground, now this has to turn into a frame and a pushing frame at that. I don't just straighten out my arm, I have to straighten out my arm, lean into it as I bring my leg back and I come up to take the back. My knees are already coming back in because I'm going to be working on releasing, going to my seat belt grip, and then working to take the back. From there, a couple of variations on how you can take the back. You can step over with the other leg if you wish. You can keep sliding the knee, change angles, blah, 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 blah. Tons of different ways. Right now, that's not the focus. The focus is right now making sure we have this, right? So we're going to do this again. I'm going to do it with my back facing you guys so you can see from a slightly different angle. Right? And again, remember, it doesn't matter where the knees land. Sometimes the knees, your leg will be in between his legs, which means one of his knees is behind your leg, one is in front. And then sometimes both of his knees will come over, right? So watch it again from a different angle. So we're set right here. Shane's going to be set up. Again, same concept. I grip, I strip, I break, I step in, I drag him to the ground. See, again, see both of his knees? You can see both of his knees clearly. But you see this push? That has to happen. I'm leaning into him. I'm curling my lead leg back towards me. This hand is coming towards his other hip, and I'm coming in like this. So now I can turn it into this. All right. One last time, other perspective, or other angle for a different perspective, I should say. I'm here. I go one, I go two, I strip, I step in, boom, bring him down, come up. All right. So very simple, very easy, right? Again, remember, when I'm pulling him down and he no longer goes down, this downward motion now turns into a forward frame, right? Forward into his neck, almost like I'm punching him in the neck. But I said this in the earlier class, and I want to say it for this class as well. Me creating just a frame is not enough. Because if I just create it and leave it here, if he pushes into me, he could use it against me. That'd be horrible. I don't want him to use my own frame against me, right? So I have to create it and then add. You see this leg? I tuck it. You remember those drills we did earlier with Shane, where he tucked his leg and he rolled over? Same thing. So I pull, tuck, and go. Now, if my leg is in between, the tuck becomes a hook. Perfect. If it doesn't, no worries. Come up, control the hip, and you're still gonna be on the back frame, right? So we're gonna go right here, watch. Boom. Yep, good. Good, freeze right here. So freeze right here, come back. There you go. So sit up a little bit more. So here, right there. Now yes. You see, he changes my angle. I can't come back into him. Does that make sense? That's why he's doing it. If he waits too long, guys, remember, I'm immediately yanking down. He just tried to accelerate my feet to the ground. I'm not going to be happy about that. I'm going to be coming back in at it. Does that make sense? So you need to understand it goes from pulling to pushing. Does that make sense? But it's a frame. I don't want you to think about it just muscularly because I don't want to just push here and sit. I'm leaning into it. That has to happen, guys, especially if you're not the biggest guy in the room. And Shane and I are not big people per se. I'm big right now because I'm taking advantage of this quarantine and eating more carbs probably than I should have, or should be eating, let me say it that way. So that's all good and well, guys, on this option if your partner is going to the knees, but it won't always happen, right? The idea is this, watch, we'll do it from this perspective. The hope for me is that when I strip this grip, boom, 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 my hope is to trip this leg. That's my hope, is to trip him, boom, bring him to the ground. But honestly, guys, sometimes this leg kind of steps over a little bit, right? And he almost ends up in this weird, like, tripod kind of a position. So watch. When I'm here, right, and I go here, and I go this way, boom, right? So other leg, because this way the other leg's going to be up. Yes, right? So he's kind of in this position. Does that make sense? If the knee is down, I still go for his back. But the problem is, what if neither of the knees go down? What if, yes, this kind of a thing, guys. You see, I'm pushing into him. If I go like this, he can still push into me. Yep, and I'm going to have issues come back, right? But instead of pulling down, I'm pushing into him. I'm going to curl, boom, my head right now is pushing into his body. I've hugged the leg. I'm going to walk him up right now. If he stays down, then I just take his back. But this is usually what happens. He comes up. Does that make sense? Hold on a second, right? So this is where it's going to be. He's not even going to have a great chance to get the whizzer because I'm going to be pushing him. Now, due to the space constraints, I can't push him off. Or you want to see what's actually happening. We're going to back up a little bit so you can see this again, right? So check this out. We're going to start right from here, guys. So the grips are already off. I've set him here. I go this way. Boom. He did not go to the ground like I wanted to. Both of his knees are off. So the downward angle now turns into a push angle. My forehead is going to go right onto his body, right? And I'm going to keep pushing and walking him up. So I start to tuck, I start to push, I start to grab, I go up. I keep walking him until I turn him into the circle to bring him down. So it's going to be a little bit of a loop. Now, Shane is about my size. Honestly, I have some old shoulder issues. Even with that, it can be a little uncomfortable even if you have good shoulders, right? So that version, nothing wrong with it. Professor shows it. He really, really enjoys it. Me, I'm older than Professor. Like I said, I have some shoulder injuries. So sometimes what I do is I keep pushing, and right before I'm going to change angles, I let go and I grab the leg. Now, that's something I do personally. Professor does keep this in, but here's the concept that I really want to get across to you guys. And we'll do it from this angle so you guys can kind of see. If I have Shane's leg already, and I'm pushing him like this, guys, I don't ever stop. This is what I would keep doing. I would keep doing this until I'm ready to go backwards. I don't ever stop. The second I stop, Shane balances. Now he has options. He can scoop, he can grab, he can try to kick me over, all sorts of nonsense. Now, I don't know what Shane knows. He might be one heck of a judo player. I just stopped. I just gave him balance, equilibrium. I just gave him everything that he needed to possibly turn the tables on me. So the big key here, guys, is once you start to come up, keep going, keep going, keep going until you decide to change the angle for the takedown. Now, hand on the body, or excuse me, on the collar, is what Professor is teaching for the fundamentals portion, right? Because of some shoulder issues, I will push, 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 change to the leg as I'm moving through, right? Again, some slight modifications due to some age issues. All right, guys. So those are your options, right? We got grip breaks, collar breaks, moving to a better position, right? So what are we looking to do from here? If we can get the guy all the way to the ground, perfect. That's what we want to do. Clean motion, grip fight, take your position, boom, collar drag him, get to the back. Knees went down, all good. If he doesn't go all the way to the ground, knees don't touch the ground, feet are up, maybe a tripod position, right? Push across. Immediately, that was one of the things I was telling Shane. He still kind of kept the downward pull instead of a cross kind of push and frame. So that'll be the thing that will be on his homework list. Work that push transition, right? So that might be something that you will find as well as an issue. If you do, guys, no worries, please reach out to me. We can set up a one-on-one over Zoom, fix it for you. Yes, if you have a partner, obviously it makes a lot of difference. This would be a little bit harder for Shane to do if it were just himself. However, like I told the last class, guys, the nice thing about sometimes it just being yourself is you do have to engage your brain in a different way. The creativity in your brain sparks, and there's some really positive ties to that and research-wise in terms of you being able to learn. So that being said, it's not always a bad thing to have to mimic the motion and have to think outside of the box. It helps you learn and retain for your betterment. To that end, guys, that was lesson 9.3. We did some great, just to recap a little bit, we did grip breaking, right? Grip breaking, then to the collar drag. We did that easy to take care of our partners. The collar drag led us to the back because our partner's knees went to the ground. And then third option was the collar drag that was not successful, right? So they were still standing. I had to change angle. They stayed up on their feet. When I pushed, it led to a single leg now kind of a situation, and I keep pushing until it's time to change direction. Please remember that little kind of caveat. Do not, if you can help it at all, do not change, do not stop your momentum, then take a grip and then go again. The odds of your opponent getting away are going to be much, much greater. Other than that, guys, thank you so very much for tuning in today. I super duper appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions at all, like I said, please feel free to reach out to me. Also, if you need any of the other links for the other classes, one thing about our program that we're using, Zoom, the platform that we're using, when you schedule out classes, you cannot use the same number, as far as I know anyway, for all of the meetings. So all of the scheduled classes will have a similar time. So all of the 11 a.m. classes, for example, have the same exact link. The noon classes, the 4:45 classes for kids, things like that. But if you're unsure which one to get, please send me a message and I will make sure you get the right links, or please check any of our social media sites, Facebook group page, WhatsApp, and of course our My Studio application and messages. Other than that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and stand up and bow out. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate you. All right, guys. Whew. Gotta make sure we look beautiful. If it was as easy as just tucking in our knees, guys, man, life would be great. There you go. Feet together, guys, hands at your side. Wow, good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Very much.